Kababayan today is not just arts and lifestyle and entertainment. We do talk about serious topics here dahil yan po ang gusto ng ating komunidad, yan po ang gusto nating pag-usapan para po masolusyonan ang ating mga problema. Pinag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon ang bullying, and we have our open lines today so you may call in. And this is particular for our viewers in Southern California. We are airing in Hawaii, but unfortunately you are getting us on a delayed telecast and you will not be able to call. I'm sorry about that. But for now, earlier we heard from a teacher saying na maski sila, they document it and they send it to the principal, but they don't do anything about it. Which begs the question, is it because, not just because there's so many, is it also because how do you draw the line between kids being kids and aggression that leads to bullying?
Yes, and you have to look at the frequency of it and the type of bullying and the type of playing, I guess, kid play, you know, what do they do? And basically, bullying is really a lot about control and power over another person. Okay. So a lot of the kids, what is the basis of aggression? There's a lot of factors that go into it, but usually it's personality or environment, or if the child is having unresolved emotional problems at home, and they act it out.
You're talking about the perpetrator.
I'm talking about the perpetrator, but but you've got to be looking at the perpetrator as well when you're looking at the victim, because if you're trying to figure out what is normal and what is not, you know, what is bullying and not, you've got to look at that relationship.
And we're looking at some of these stories that we're hearing about. Right. Some of them have been bullied for years. Right. For a year, for 6 months, it's an extended period of time.
And the question, when you have to look at, you also have to ask the child, because sometimes when you ask your child, are you being bullied? And they might say no, because sometimes it's a shameful thing for them. Yeah. So part of what you need to do is to get involved. Parent has to get involved and know what's going on with their child.
And they have to be consistent, and they have to be tenacious. They can't just give up just because no one's listening. Yeah. Virginia is joining us from Hollywood. Magandang hapon sa'yo, Virginia.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Magandang hapon din. Yeah, I would like to say something about regarding about bullying about the kids in the school. My child, my daughter, she experienced that also from her school. She's in middle school.
Okay, middle school.
Yes, I was so afraid of my daughter that she was gonna commit a suicide. It's because one time she was coming home and she was crying, and I was worried about my daughter. I don't know what's going on, so I did talk to her, and I finally convinced her what's going on. So she finally told me that it was one of her, the problem. It was in her classroom, and also her teacher. She had a favoritism on the subject. It was math subject. And I guess my daughter, the teacher, she don't really like my daughter. And then the other kids, they get into that side from her teacher, and they start bullying my daughter.
Okay.
And I told my daughter, I said, okay, if you don't want to go to school anymore, because she told me that she don't want to go to school, she don't want to go back in school. And I told her that I was going to put or transfer you to another school, or either you're going to study home study.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll keep our call short po dahil marami pong tumatawag. Pero homeschool and transferring schools, is that a viable option?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Kung kailangan i-transfer and you think that they will have a better chance of, you know, doing better at the new school, that's fine. Homeschooling, it's a little bit more involved than just transferring to another school, because homeschooling, you have to take a lot of initiative to give them socialization with other kids.
Right, especially if they're just being homeschooled.
Yes, you don't want to jump from the fire to the, I mean, from the pot to the fire.
At this point, Karina, from the legal perspective, can Virginia file something with the police? Especially the teacher, we're talking about kids perpetrating bullying, but then there are also instances when the teacher is the one that encourages and perpetrates bullying.
I think you need to start documenting who you're talking to, you know, what they've done, because there are civil lawsuits that can be filed against the school,
You have
against
to
the
fight
school
back.
board,
Right.
for negligence. If anything happened to your daughter, let's say, if she was seriously injured or even, death in the hands of a bully, I mean, that is the response. And they had noticed that this was going on.
I want to suggest to the mom, though, that she should bring this up to the school counselor, because the school counselor might know about that teacher, and if there are other incidents involving that teacher, then
That's what I was going to ask. Should the parent, before thinking about transferring the kid, also exhaust all efforts first and talk to the teacher?
Yes, absolutely. You have to, because otherwise, it's also very empowering for the child. Because let's say if it's the personality of the child that's kind of, a little bit less not
Vocal,
doesn't take the initiative,
right.
Then you move her to a different school. What if it happens again at the different school? Then are you going to move again to a different school?
Right, keep moving, right. Okay, we have one last block. When we return on the show, I know Grace is standing by on the line. We'll get to your call when we return. Don't go away.